Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the HOU Bullcast channel. I'm so grateful for y'all to stop by and watch another video. I know it's been a week since my last video, which was the Texans versus Ravens preview game, but I'm back once again. I got a new laptop. I'm hoping the camera quality is better than the laptop I used to have. But the train keeps moving, progress keeps moving. This channel's gonna keep moving, and that's thanks to all of y'all. So before this video starts, can y'all please like, share, and subscribe to this video as we're going to keep growing and growing. And I'm going to keep making more content for every one of y'all. I'm so grateful to the amount of views I'm getting each week, each day, and I couldn't be more ecstatic and grateful for everybody that's showing interest as to who I am, what I bring, especially when it comes to talking Texans. So let's get into it, guys. We got the Texans going into M&T Bank Stadium, defeating the Baltimore Ravens 44 to 10, the first win in Baltimore in our organization's history. So that's a pretty crazy stat. We're 1-8 in Baltimore, which is crazy to know. And overall, this game, heading into it, I didn't know how the offense would do. I don't know. I didn't know how CJ would do. I don't know. I didn't know how the offensive line would do. I knew the defense would do something, but I didn't know how it would all play out because even though the Ravens are missing pieces, it's the next man up league. Anything can happen. So let's get into it. Stats of the game, because this was just a great game from a Texans fan's perspective, which it was from me, and I'm gonna get into it. From the stats to the quarters, key plays in each quarter, and by the end of the game, I'm gonna just talk about what we're doing moving forward. So let's get into it. CJ Stroud, 23 for 27, 244 yards, four touchdowns, and zero interceptions. He looked great today. He was clean in the pocket. He had two sacks, yeah, but there was one on him, and once as usual, but another that was just a heavy blitz that was just too fast to block, But he had 30 yards rushing. We'll get into that play eventually. But yeah, he had a great game overall as a passer, as a runner, which we didn't expect. When it comes to the rushing game, Nick Chubb, 11 attempts, 61 yards rushing, averaging 5.5 yards per carry with one touchdown. Nick Chubb looked great. I thought we were going to use Woody more, but we used Nick Chubb, the man who played for the Cleveland Browns, the rival of the Ravens, and he looked great. Woody Marks, he got his attempts, 7 attempts for 24 yards rushing. So he put in his work when the plays happened for him. British Brooks, fullback, he had 2 attempts for 15 yards, and they were key fourth and one plays that we used him on. And it was pretty surprising that we used British on fourth and one plays. So, you know, hats off to him for getting the conversion of the first down. When it comes to receiving, the leading receiver honestly surprised me. It's Christian Kirk with 4 catches for 64 yards. He looked great, getting open, having enough time to get CJ to see him throw the ball towards him. Dalton Schultz, 5 catches for 60 yards. Dalton looked good. Nico, 4 catches for 52 yards and one touchdown. Like all of our receivers look great, and it's so great that we used who I'm fixing to name next. Jaden Higgins, 4 catches for 32 yards. Xavier Hutchinson, 3 catches for 18 yards with two touchdowns, the first of his career. Which Xavier Hutchinson, shout out to you. You look great. You finally have shown that you're coming up. A lot of people were talking about you in the offseason. We didn't know how much you progressed, but you progressed well. So congrats to you, bud. Jalen Noel, who we've been waiting to see a part of this offense starting because he's just always been kickoff returner, punt returner. And today, no, I mean Sunday, he made his plays happen. He had 2 catches for 13 yards with one touchdown, first of his career. And with how much we've been talking about using the rookies of Nick Cayley using the rookies, it finally happened, and we're happy about that because the rookies look good. The rookies showed what they have, and that's what we're going to do moving forward after the bye week when we play the Seattle Seahawks, I believe, after the bye week. So it's great to move forward with a game like this offensively. The offensive line allowing only 2 sacks due to heavy blitzes, but overall clean pocket for CJ. Special teams, Kaimi 3 for 3 on field goals, the 50-yard, 57-yard, and 34-yard field goals, and only punted one time the entire game with Tommy Townsend, which was in the fourth quarter. So that's an even bigger accomplishment knowing you only punted once in this entire game. So congrats to the offense for not looking like crap against a terrible defense. But speaking of defense, let's get into our defensive stats. Our defense allowed Baltimore to only rack up 179 passing yards and 44 rushing yards. with only one rushing touchdown in play. With only one rushing touchdown in play and also a field goal. But the touchdown made by Derrick Henry, who only had 33 yards, so he honestly did not look good. Uh, and honestly, that was the only touchdown they scored all game. The only other point they scored was field goals, which was a 27-yard field goal by Tyler Loop. He was 1 for 2, missing a 55-yard field goal heading into halftime. Uh, when it comes to also defensive stats, there was only one sack on the game, which was Mario Edwards with a really good key sack on Cooper Rush, made to make it fourth down. Defensively, MVPs wise, Jalen Petrie, MVP for the defense. He came out with two key interceptions. I'll talk about them once I get into the quarters, but he had two key interceptions, a big hit on Derrick Henry, which he laid him out. If you go rewatch it, and Kamari Lassiter with a one interception over Rashad Bateman. We'll get into that whenever I talk about the key plays in each quarter that happened. But yeah, Kamari with one pick. So congrats to Kamari for the first pick. All right, let's. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get into each quarter, each key drives plays because I want to give y'all my perspective on the certain plays that happen, the big plays that happen, and in case you didn't get to watch the game, it's just plays that you can hear that you can go back and look at, and just watch to see how good this offense looked and how good this defense looked. So let's get into it. First quarter, I'm not gonna lie, it surprised me. They had a great kickoff with Jalen Noel. He did a sort of fake handoff to Xavier and got a 31-yard return out of it, which it was good yardage from that return. On that first drive, we moved down the field beautifully, balancing our run offense and our passing offense, and we ended it with a 5-yard passing touchdown to Xavier for his first career touchdown. Uh, on the Ravens' first drive. They were moving down the field, and it kind of scared me because I was like, "Ain't no way the defense is looking the way they are." But then they started adjusting well once this first drive was over. D Hop had a catch for a pass for 29 yards and it added extra because Kamari was holding on to him. So that didn't help. And we honestly thought that they were going to score a touchdown that drive. But the drive ended, resulting in a field goal by Tyler Loop, the 27-yarder, as I said before. The Texans' next drive. The third drive moved well down the field, but on a 3rd and 5, CJ was hit by a heavy blitz, sacked by Kyle Van Noy, who I thought wasn't playing, but he was playing, and we saw it with his sack. It was just heavy blitz, heavy stunt blitz that nobody saw coming. It was just too much for CJ to handle. So it's plays like this that you wish CJ threw it away quicker, but he just took a sack, -8 yards, resulting in a Kaimi 50-yard field goal. Uh, Not much happened after that. We headed into the second quarter. This is the Ravens' second drive. It really didn't go anywhere. Went on 3rd and 8. The pressure got to Cooper Rush with Mario Edwards. As I said before, who got the only sack of the game, which was surprising that there was only one sack on the game from our defense. But it is what it is. We put a lot of pressure on him still. But Mario Edwards sacked him for a loss of 16 yards. So that was just momentum for the defense, giving it to the offense. Uh, it resulted in a good punt, but by Ravens punter Stout, but was called back due to Ravens player Keon Martin running out of bounds uh, to go make the tackle, which resulted in a flag, redoing the kick, which wasn't a great one. It hit I believe the 48 and just fell back all the way to Baltimore's 41. So that was a great field position for us, and which led to on the next Texans drive, uh, which really not much happened. But on third and moving down from first down to second down, nothing really happened. Just short yardage gains. But when it came down to it, 3rd and 3, uh, everybody was getting honestly, it was a shotgun play. Everybody was getting pretty covered, and on 3rd and 3, CJ just decided to scramble out the pocket for I'm not gonna lie, a beautiful 30-yard run. I was like, who is this? He doesn't run like this. And he ran out the pocket for a 30-yard run, and we all thought it was a touchdown, but he was short. He got to the 4-yard line, and it was just great to see CJ ecstatic, seeing him make a play like that. On the couple plays later, he threw a 3-yard touchdown to Harrison Bryant, but was called back due to offensive pass interference due to Dalton Schultz. They say it was on Dalton Schultz, but I could have sworn it was on Jaden Higgins blocking, I guess, the linebacker. But to me, it was a weak call. They should have just let the touchdown go on, but it's whatever. But on third down, CJ threw a dart to Nico Collins for a 10-yard passing touchdown. which once again momentum was just all on our side. Next drive for the Ravens, it was just a regular punt, just got stopped, just a dead drive. The next drive for the Texans, it was 3rd and 4. CJ was sacked by Keon Martin for minus 16 yards. Once again, it was a heavy blitz. CJ ran backwards, which is kind of irritating for him to do sometimes, but he got sacked. It was bad sack, but it was called back because it was a 3rd and 4. It was called back for an offsides call due to Keon Martin, and it turned into a first down. During that drive, after that first down, CJ made one pass to Dalton for 21 yards on Ravens' 19-yard line. There was an incomplete pass to Christian Kirk, but was called for PI on Keon Martin once again. So he was just getting flagged the entire drive. Uh, and due to the flag, they moved us up to the, I believe, 10-yard line, and that play resulted in CJ throwing honestly a lob to Xavier Hutchinson for his second career touchdown for a 10-yard touchdown. So that was a great play. That was a great drive. Yeah, of course, the drive was more affected due to flags, but you move because of the mistakes the defense makes. Uh, then with about, I believe, a minute left of the game before halftime, Ravens were using the clock to their advantage, using timeouts to their advantage. They used two of their timeouts moving down the field, and also due to MJ Stewart making a flag happen of an illegal contact up against Mark Andrews, and moving down the drive, especially with that flag, it resulted in a 55-yard position field goal. But you would think it was going to go into halftime with a they were going to go into halftime with a field goal, a really good field goal. But nah, Tyler Loop shanked it to the right, and we go into halftime 24-3. Texans taking advantage all the way. Nobody would have thought that this game in halftime was going to be this score. And to me, it's still crazy knowing that we went into halftime with this score against the Ravens in Baltimore. Like I couldn't believe it. Like it just felt like a fever dream type of thing. So I know all you Texas fans were excited going into halftime, knowing that this is a definite win. But second halves can change. Second halves can turn into something else. You saw with the Cardinals and Titans game. The Cardinals were up 21-6. Like what happened? Okay, but moving on. After halftime, Ravens started their third quarter, but immediately ended. But it immediately ended because Cooper Rush. It was already, I believe, second. No, no, no. They moved down for a first down. Yeah, they got a first down after the first attempt drive. Then there was a little bit of too much pressure. Cooper kind of ran out of the right side of the pocket. He tried throwing it to his safety valve, Derrick Henry, but Jalen Petrie was right next to Derrick Henry, and he dove for that ball because like I said, Cooper Rush was throwing to his safety valve, which is Derrick Henry on the outside. But Jalen Petrie read that perfectly and grabbed it before it hit the ground, intercepting it on the Ravens 38. Just momentum all the way. You could tell the Ravens momentum was just dead. The fans' momentum was dead, and it was quiet. Like nobody could believe that this is happening. The Texans drive after that interception resulted in a great run. A couple plays happened, but what highlighted it was a great run by Nick Chubb running through the hole made by the right guard. I think it was Ed Ingram. I believe it was Ed Ingram, but it was a great hole. He cut right through a hole, resulting in a 27-yard rushing touchdown, 31-3. Seeing Nick Chubb score the way he did right there was beautiful. He looked great. The way he ran in this game was great. It looked like he was sort of showing his old former self, but still a little bit of rust in it. But he still looks great. Nick Chubb, I'm glad got the acquisition of signing him in this offseason because we still don't know when Mixon will come back. Who even knows if he comes back all season? Like he might just miss the season, but I won't be mad because Chubb and Woody Marks, they are two great running backs that we utilize well. Uh, After that touchdown, the Ravens punted the next drive. They were just not doing much. Once that third quarter started, they were still not progressing. They still had no momentum. After that point, the Texans were moving, but it was stopped after a loss on 3rd and 1 because we were moving, but we had a staggering drive where we went 3rd and 1. Uh, we we ran the ball with I believe it was Woody Marks, but it got stopped immediately. But it resulted in a Kaimi 57-yard field goal that was good, which turned the game 34-3. So in the third quarter, 34-3, it's kind of like, all right, this game's kind of dead. And that's the way everybody felt. Just still happy, though, waiting to see if we'll put more points up. But we'll get to that. After that drive, Ravens finally had a good drive after so long, maybe since the first drive in the first quarter, uh, which was a result of Cooper Rush throwing a deep right pass to Zay Flowers in a 56-yard reception slash with extra yardage involved, and that was because he threw a deep right pass. Stingley was trying to recover yardage, trying to get back at him, but Stingley tripped and fell. It could have been a touchdown, but thankfully Kalen Bullock stopped him at the 4 yard line of our side of the ball. But with that drive, it ended in a Derrick Henry 1 yard touchdown because we had a sack on Cooper Rush on that. I believe it was second down and three, second and goal and three. We had a sack, but it got called for a first down because of a Will Anderson offsides call. But I'm not going to blame Will Anderson. Shit happens, but it resulted in a Derrick Henry 1 yard touchdown. Even though they got the touchdown, it turned 34-10, but there was still no momentum. Third quarter was already close to ending, so it was kind of like, all right, it's just one of those easy scores for them to get. But on the next drive, before the fourth quarter started, once again they moved all the way down the field from Houston's 35 to Ravens 4 yard line, resulting in a CJ pass to Jalen Noel. Jalen Noel for a 4 yard touchdown. Jalen Noel's first career touchdown. I'm happy for him. He's great at returning the ball. He's honestly just such an explosive player with his speed. He's honestly like a taller version of Tank Dell if we can utilize him more because he's got the speed, and this is why I want to see him more. And causing media coverage and all this and that. It was Jalen Knowles' touchdown celebration, which was the Ray Lewis squirrel dance, in which Jair Alexander took offense, trying to rip the ball away from him, acting like you know, oh, you don't deserve the ball if you're trying to be disrespectful. But but Jair Alexander, like what I believe it was an NFL Red Zone commentator, he said, "Wow, this is the most dog we've seen in a player on the Ravens team all game." Because I guess nobody else wanted to show up, which is true. But in the end, Jair Alexander, you were already getting blown out 41-10 after that touchdown. So why complain about that? Why complain about the dance? Why try to rip a guy's first touchdown ball away? Like, just get out of here. And he wants to talk mess. He wants to talk mess about Jalen Knowles' actions after the game. But it's like, dude, Ravens fans don't even like you, so why even say anything? You were better on the Packers, so just shut up already. You're not doing nothing. Jalen Noel got his first touchdown against you in that defense, so we're happy for Jalen Noel. So congrats to him once again. Fourth quarter started. Ravens' fourth quarter drive went nowhere once again, but they got a first down uh, after their initial first down when receiving the kickoff. But after their first down, Cooper Rush threw a ball to Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews had no control of it. He was bobbling it up in his hands and then bobbled up in the air for Jalen Petrie to miraculously catch it, intercept it for his second interception of the game on the Ravens 21. And when that play happened, you just felt like that was it. I mean, in general, the game was pretty much already over, but you felt that was pretty much it. Like the Ravens have no hope, and you could even see like how frustrated Mark Andrews was. He was hitting the bench, he was hitting his helmet on the ground, and you could just see like this isn't the Ravens team that everybody usually knows that they are. They were missing Lamar, they were missing a lot of their defensive players, but really they just didn't look good no matter I feel like no matter even if they had the certain players on their team, they like the way their defense played was just terrible. Like this isn't the 2004 Ravens. This isn't the 2000 Ravens in general. I believe I heard that the this is in just 5 games they've allowed more points than the 2000 defense allowed all season, which is crazy to know, knowing that John Harbaugh is allowing this. But who knows what Ravens do? Who knows what Ravens do with coaching wise with defensive coordinator Zach or their offense coordinator Monken, I believe. But overall, it's seeing what they do after this because now they got the LA Rams, and LA Rams are no pushover. Like they lost to the 49ers. They're mad, they're hungry. So them going up against a pretty beat up Ravens team. Ravens, y'all got to get ready in case y'all go 1-5. It's pretty much panic button for y'all. But after that, second Jalen Petrie's second interception, players were already getting reserved, benched, and all that starter wise. So Davis Mills stepped in, Damian Pierce stepped in. Damian Pierce does not look good still. even the defensive side of the ball, we benched our players like Will Anderson, Daniel Hunter, so gave the backups some time. But after that pick by Jalen Petrie, it resulted in a Kaimi 34-yard field goal. Both teams not doing much the rest of the game except punting, and I guess the key final play was Cooper Rush threw a deep right pass to Rashad Bateman, which was picked off by Kamari Lassiter, as I said earlier with the stats with Kamari getting one pick. And honestly, it was just a dead play because he threw a deep right pass. It was right there near Rashad Bateman, but I don't know if the sun got in his eyes. I don't know if he just kind of quit on the play because he didn't see the ball. But Kamari saw the ball, picked it off, and honestly, that was pretty much it. Because after we got the ball back, sent the offense back on the field after that interception, we just pretty much ran a few plays, killed the clock, got 2 minute warning, killed the clock even more, kneeled it down, and boom, first win in Baltimore, 44-10. Great win by the Texans. Am I still sold on this? Am I sold on this offense? Not yet. I need to see this against a team like the Seattle Seahawks after the bye week because Seattle is a pretty good team, and that will be a great matchup on Monday Night Football. So that will be a good game. But this is a great momentum game for our offense to head into the bye week, knowing that they put this amount of points up. They looked great. They looked like they were never anemic all season. Like this type of game made has you thinking like, oh, I wonder how good this team has been. Which you look at the past games, they didn't look good, but this game they look great. But I know people will say it's due to a bad defense, a bad injured defense. Like I get it, yeah, but it's the NFL. It's a no excuse league. You can't blame injuries and all that. Like we've dealt with injuries before, and of course we were the type to blame it on that, but we still took it knowing that it's a no excuse league. Next man up. That's why you have backups. That's why you have practice squad. They're all players that are ready to play for you, and you got to have them adjusted, ready to play, ready to win. And the Ravens just weren't ready for the Texans offense, which was an abysmal offense heading into this game, but turned into a really heavy passing offense, a really balanced offense. Because I remember, I believe it was before halftime, we had 99 pass yards and 99 rush yards with JJ Watt on commentary, who was number 99 for the Texans. So, shout out to JJ Watt watching the first Texans win in Baltimore. Uh, but overall, we played, like I said, we played a depleted Ravens defense, but once again, this is no excuse league. Next man up. But it was a belt to ass win, which was great to see. But we move on to the bye week. We're 2-3. Um, in the division wise, I know Jacksonville and Kansas City are playing tonight on Monday night, so we'll see what happens. Update wise, because I'm gonna of course be making videos all week, so I'll keep you all updated on the KC and Jaguars game, see where the division's at because the Colts are 4-1. So hats off to them, especially I know DJ AB Cool and my boy JDW. They're happy. They defeated the Raiders belt the ass as well, like we did with the Ravens. So it's gonna be a tough fight to get back in position of winning the division, but we'll see what happens. But when it comes to the Jaguars, because Jaguars are in second place in our division, I feel Jags will be the Jaguars, which is they'll fall off mid-season or near the end of the season. So I have no worries. I'm ready to play them again. I want to see how we look playing them again. But time will pass by. We got the bye week to adjust ourselves. We'll have a couple guys more likely coming back, like Danico Autry, and our rookie safety Jalen Reed. So it'll be great to see them on the field for us. No timetable for Joe Mixon, no timetable for Tank Dell, who I would desperately love to see on this team. I really would. But, we move on as a team. The guys are happy. The guys have momentum heading into the bye week. They're happy, so we move on, we're 2-3 heading on the bye week. I'm just glad we're not 1-4 heading into the bye week. We honestly could have been like the way these weeks have been, we could have gone to the bye week 4-1, but I'm not going to complain. Uh, our defense is honestly looking like the number one defense. They are number one in lowest points allowed all season so far. Like in just the past two games, we've only allowed 10 points between two teams, just 10 points from the Titans scoring zero to the Ravens scoring 10. So this defense is just a Super Bowl defense. CJ Gardner Johnson, we didn't need you. Look at us now. MJ Stewart stepped up. He's looking good coverage wise. We didn't even need CJ Gardner Johnson. He honestly felt like he was the reason why our defense was struggling. Who knows? maybe he was getting into it with Jalen Petrie, like the way they said that he was complaining about somebody else's contract, which Jalen Petrie got a contract, and look how Jalen Petrie is looking now, 2 interceptions in one game. So this defense is moving, rolling high off of these wins with how much they're not allowing, with point wise, with passing yard wise, with rushing wise. We're overall a great defense, but offensively, we gotta we gotta move on from this and keep this momentum going as an offense. But other than that, guys, this was the Texans defeating the Baltimore Ravens 44-10. A great game and day to be a Texans fan. We move on to the bye week, a relaxing bye week. So I hope y'all have a great relaxing bye week. I plan on doing a sort of quarterly reaction to the Texans season this week because of the bye week. But I'll keep you posted on that. But overall, guys, thank y'all for watching. If y'all have made it this far, if y'all really wanted to listen to my annoying self, but overall, thank y'all guys. I hope y'all like, share, and subscribe to this video. I'm making Texas content 24/7 as much as I can. I want to build this into something special that it can be. This is the HOU Bullcast. This is Aaron signing out. Thank y'all once again.